Most people over 65 are told the same thing about numb feet. Just keep walking and wear thicker socks. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. Walking alone does not protect the circulation and the nerve signals that keep you steady on your own 2 feet. That tingling, that pins and needles feeling when you stand up from a chair, is not something to simply push through. It is your body asking for something specific, and thicker socks are not it. Here is the observation that matters. Foot and nerve clinics see this every single day. Older adults who describe their feet as wooden, asleep, or wrapped in cotton. It is one of the most common quiet complaints after 65, and too often it gets waved away as just getting older. Over the next few minutes, I am going to give you 5 daily habits that keep the blood and the nerve signals moving in your feet and lower legs, plus the one insight that most short appointments never have the time to cover. The number 1 habit on this list is something almost nobody talks about, and it takes about 90 seconds a night. Stay with me until the end, because that one habit can change how steady you feel on your feet for the next 10 years. Let me tell you why the standard advice falls short. A typical appointment runs about 12 minutes. In that window, your doctor has to review your history, check the urgent things, and manage whatever brought you in. There is rarely time to sit and explain the slow mechanics of circulation in a pair of aging feet. So you get the short version. Keep moving. Slow down. Here is a prescription. All reasonable. But none of it teaches you what is actually happening below your knees, or what you can do about it at home, tonight. That gap is not your doctor's fault. It is just the shape of a rushed system. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. And the stakes here are real, because this is not about comfort. It is about independence. Numb feet are how falls begin. When you cannot feel the floor clearly, your balance quietly erodes, and the ground stops giving you the feedback you have trusted for 80 years. That is the difference between confidently crossing your own kitchen and reaching for the counter every time. So here is a question for you right now. When you get up from a chair, do your feet feel the floor immediately, or is there a delay, a fuzzy second before they wake up? Tell me your age and your country in the comments, because I read them, and it tells me who this is reaching. Now please do not skip this next part. It is the key to everything that follows. There is one main mechanism behind numb feet after 65, and once you see it, every habit on this list will make sense. Think of your circulation like a delivery route for a town built on a hillside. Your heart is the depot at the top. Fresh blood, carrying oxygen and nutrients, has to travel all the way down to the farthest houses, your toes, and then climb all the way back up. Your feet are the last stop on the route, the hardest houses to reach, at the very bottom of the hill. Here is the problem. The trucks going down have gravity helping them. The trucks coming back up do not. They rely on the muscles in your calves squeezing the veins like a hand squeezing a tube of toothpaste, pushing blood back toward the depot. As we age, and as we sit more, that squeezing gets weaker and less frequent. The delivery route slows. The nerves in your feet, which need that steady supply, start sending faint or scrambled signals. That is the numbness. It is a delivery problem, not a character flaw, and delivery problems can be fixed. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. Let us start the countdown at number 5. Ankle pumps and ankle circles. This is the simplest habit on the list, and it is the one you can do without even standing up. Here is why it works. Remember the trucks that have to climb back up the hill against gravity. The engine that drives them is your calf muscle. Every time you flex your foot up and point it down, your calf contracts and releases, and it squeezes the deep veins like that hand on the toothpaste tube. Doctors sometimes call the calf your second heart, because down in your lower legs, it does almost as much pumping work as the organ in your chest. When you sit still for an hour, that second heart goes quiet, and the blood pools around your ankles. Ankle pumps switch the engine back on. Large clinical observations in older adults have consistently shown that simple, repeated ankle movement measurably improves blood flow return from the lower leg. This is one of the most established, low-risk things you can do. Here is the protocol, with real numbers. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat. Lift your toes toward your shins as far as they comfortably go. Then point them down, like pressing a gas pedal. That is 1 pump. Do 20 pumps, slowly, about 1 every 2 seconds. Then switch to circles, rotating each foot 10 times clockwise and 10 times counterclockwise. Do this set 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. The most common mistake is rushing. Fast, tiny movements do almost nothing. Slow, full-range movements are what squeeze the veins properly, so make each one deliberate. Now the senior safe version. If reaching your full range pulls at your calf or your ankle feels stiff, do not force it. Move only through the range that feels easy, and let it improve over days, not minutes. Keep one hand on the arm of the chair for stability, and the stop condition if you feel a sharp calf pain, a cramp that will not release, or new swelling in just one leg. Stop and mention it to your doctor before continuing, because one-sided swelling deserves a proper look. Pair this one with a glass of water. Here is why. Blood that is even slightly thickened from mild dehydration moves more sluggishly through those narrow foot vessels, and older adults feel thirst less reliably. Movement plus hydration together move more than either alone. But ankle pumps only work while you are doing them. They wake the engine, but they do not build the endurance your circulation needs across the whole day. That is what the next habit fixes, and it is about how you spend your walking, not just whether you walk. Number 4. Walking in short, spread out intervals, not one long march, many small ones. Here is the mechanism. Most people think of walking as one daily event, 30 minutes, done, checked off. But your circulation does not care about one big block. It cares about frequency. Remember the delivery route. What keeps a hillside town supplied is trucks running all day long, not one convoy at 9 in the morning followed by silence until dark. Every time you stand and walk, even for 2 minutes, your calf pump fires and clears the pooled blood from your ankles. 6 short walks keep the route active 6 times. 1 long walk, then 8 hours in a chair, lets the blood settle for most of the day. Research on older adults has consistently found that breaking up long periods of sitting with brief, frequent movement improves circulation more than a single exercise session, followed by a long, still stretch. Here is the protocol. Aim to stand and walk for 2 to 3 minutes every hour you are awake, roughly 8 to 10 short walks a day. It does not have to be far, to the kitchen and back, down the hall, around the room. Set a gentle timer if you tend to lose track. The number that matters is not distance, it is how often you interrupt the sitting. If you add up those short walks, you will often pass 30 minutes without a single formal workout, and your feet will have felt the benefit all day long. The senior safe version. If balance is a concern, walk a route where you are always near a wall, a counter, or sturdy furniture you can touch. Wear shoes with backs and grip. Never loose slippers on a smooth floor. And the stop condition. If you feel chest tightness, unusual breathlessness, or dizziness, sit down and stop. And if it does not pass quickly, treat it as a reason to call your doctor, not to push on. Pair these short walks with something you already do every hour. Standing during the commercial break, refilling your tea, answering the phone on your feet. Anchoring the walk to an existing habit is what makes it actually happen, because circulation is not luck. Nerve health is not genetics. Steady feet are trained. Now walking and pumping both move blood while you are active. But there is a habit that works on the 2 things movement alone cannot reach, the health of the skin and nerves on the foot itself, and catching trouble before you can feel it. That is number 3. Number 3. A daily warm foot routine paired with a proper foot inspection. Here is the mechanism, and it has 2 parts. First, gentle warmth. When your feet are warm, the small vessels near the surface open up, what doctors call dilation, and blood flows more freely into exactly the areas that go numb. Think of it like the difference between a garden hose on a cold morning, stiff and narrow, and that same hose in the afternoon sun, soft and open. Warmth widens the delivery pipes at the very end of the route. Second, and just as important, is the inspection. When your feet are numb, you lose your early warning system. A blister, a cut, a pressure sore from a shoe, you may not feel it. Looking every day replaces the feeling you have lost with something you can see. Foot care specialists consistently emphasize daily foot inspection for older adults with any numbness, because problems caught early stay small. Here is the protocol with exact numbers. Once a day, ideally in the evening, soak your feet in comfortably warm water for about 10 minutes. The water should feel pleasantly warm to your hand, never hot. Because your feet may not judge temperature reliably, test it with your wrist or elbow first, the way you would test a baby's bath. Then dry thoroughly, especially between the toes, and while they are bare, look them over, tops, soles, heels, and between every toe. Use a hand mirror on the floor if bending is hard. You are looking for redness, cuts, blisters, swelling, or color changes. The common mistake is testing the water with a numb foot, which is exactly the part that cannot warn you, so always test with a reliable spot first, the senior safe version. Never use a hot water bottle, a heating pad, or a soak you have not temperature tested, because numb skin can burn without you feeling it, and that is one of the most common serious injuries in this group. Sit to soak and dry, never balance on one foot. And the stop condition, if you find a sore that is not healing, spreading redness, or any break in the skin that looks angry, do not treat it at home. Book it with your doctor promptly, because on feet with reduced circulation, small wounds are never just small wounds. Pair the soak with your evening wind down, right before you brush your teeth, so it becomes part of a chain you already never skip. A habit tied to another habit is a habit that survives. Now warmth and inspection care for the foot itself, but there is one more force we have not used yet, and it is completely free. Gravity. So far gravity has been the villain, dragging blood down and making the climb back hard. The next habit turns gravity into your helper, and it is the most restful thing on this entire list. That is number 2. Number 2. Legs up, elevation drainage, at the end of the day. Here is the mechanism. All day, blood and fluid drift downward and settle in your feet and ankles, which is why they often feel puffiest and most wooden by evening. When you lie down and raise your legs above the level of your heart, you flip the hillside. Now the pooled blood and fluid runs downhill, back toward the depot, without your muscles having to pump against gravity at all. It is the one time all day the return trip is easy. Think of it as tipping a nearly empty bottle upside down to let the last of it drain out, effortless, just physics doing the work. Clinical guidance for older adults with lower leg swelling and pooling has long included leg elevation as a simple, effective daily measure. Here is the protocol. Once a day, ideally in the early evening, lie on your back and raise your legs so your feet are higher than your heart. Rest them against a wall, or on 2 firm cushions, or on the arm of a sofa. Hold it for 15 to 20 minutes. You do not need your legs straight up at a right angle. Even a gentle slope works, so make it comfortable enough that you would actually stay there. The mistake people make is propping only their feet on a low footstool that is not high enough to beat gravity. The feet must clear the level of the heart, the senior safe version. Get down and up carefully, using a bed or a low couch rather than the bare floor if rising is hard, and never strain your back to get into position. If you have heart failure or serious breathing issues, check with your doctor first, because for a small number of people, lying flat with legs raised is not advised, and this is worth one quick question at your next visit. The stop condition. If elevating your legs brings on breathlessness, stop and lower them slowly. Pair this with something you already sit and do, your evening reading, a phone call, a favorite program. 20 minutes passes without effort when your hands and mind are busy. That covers moving the blood, building endurance, caring for the skin, and letting gravity drain the day away. But every one of those habits still leaves out the single most important 90 seconds of your day, the one that ties circulation, nerve signals, and your own safety into one short nightly ritual. That is the crown, and it is next. Number 1, the nightly circulation and self-check ritual. 90 seconds, done sitting on the edge of your bed, and it is the habit almost nobody talks about. Here is why it earns the top spot. Everything else on this list does one job. This ritual does 3 at once, and it does them at the one moment you are guaranteed to be sitting still every single day, bedtime. It combines the calf pump that drives blood uphill, the nerve wake-up that sharpens the signals from your feet, and the daily self-check that catches trouble you cannot feel. 3 defenses, 90 seconds, one habit you will actually keep because it lives on the edge of your bed. Let me explain the mechanism, because this is the deepest one. Your feet have thousands of tiny nerve endings, and they stay sharp through 2 things, steady blood supply and regular stimulation. When feet sit numb and unused all day, those nerves get less of both, and the signal fades, like a radio station drifting out of range the longer you leave the dial untouched. This ritual does the opposite. The heel raises flood the feet with fresh blood. The toe spreading and the floor press physically stimulate the nerve endings, nudging that radio dial back onto the station. You are not just moving blood, you are reminding the nerves how to report. That combination, circulation plus stimulation, is what movement alone or warmth alone never quite delivers. Large clinical observations in older adults consistently link regular calf and foot activation with better lower limb blood flow and steadier balance over time. Here is the full protocol, with exact numbers. Sit on the edge of your bed, feet flat on the floor, hands resting beside you for support. Step 1. Seated heel raises. Keep your toes on the floor and lift both heels as high as they go. Feel your calves squeeze, then lower slowly. Do 15 at about 1 every 2 seconds. Step 2. Toe presses. Press all 10 toes down into the floor as if gripping it. Hold for a slow count of 3. Release. Do that 10 times. Step 3. Toe spreads. Lift your toes and fan them apart as wide as you can. Hold 3 seconds. Relax. 10 times. Step 4. The self-check. Run your eyes and a hand over each foot, tops, soles, and between the toes, feeling and looking for anything new. The whole sequence is about 90 seconds. The common mistake is doing it fast and shallow. Rushing robs the calf squeeze of its power. So slow and full is the rule. The senior safe version. Do every bit of this seated, never standing, so balance is never in question. Hold the edge of the bed or a nightstand if you feel unsteady, even sitting. If your ankles or calves are stiff, do smaller heel raises and let the range grow over weeks. The stop condition, sharp pain means stop, not push through, and a calf cramp that will not release, or new swelling in one leg only, is your signal to pause the ritual and speak to your doctor. And here's the part that ties into the whole video, the insight most appointments never reach. That nightly self-check is not a small add-on. It is your replacement warning system. When numbness has taken your ability to feel a cut or a sore, your eyes and your daily attention become the sense you lost. This is also the moment to be honest about the bigger picture. Numbness in both feet after 65 is very often a sign of something a doctor should evaluate, including blood sugar problems and nerve conditions. These habits support your circulation, they do not replace that workup. So the crown habit is really 2 things at once, a nightly boost for your feet and a daily reason to notice early when something needs a real appointment. That is how 90 seconds a night can protect the next 10 years of standing on your own 2 feet. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation and foot care literature. A 74-year-old woman who had been feeling a growing numbness in both feet for over a year. She described standing up from her armchair and feeling like she was stepping onto a floor she could not quite locate, so she had begun gripping the furniture on every trip across the room. Her world was shrinking to the width of whatever she could reach. She was guided onto a simple daily plan, no equipment, ankle pumps 3 times a day, short walks every hour instead of one long one, a warm evening soak with a proper foot check, legs up for 15 minutes while she watched her evening program, and the 90-second ritual on the edge of her bed each night. She also brought the numbness to her doctor, who checked the underlying causes, exactly as she should have. The change did not arrive overnight, but it arrived. Over several weeks, she reported that her feet woke up faster when she stood, that the wooden feeling eased in the evenings, and that the pooling around her ankles went down. Most telling of all, she began crossing her own living room without reaching for the furniture. That is not a small thing. That is independence coming back 1 step at a time. So here is exactly what to do. Tonight, sit on the edge of your bed and do the 90-second ritual. 15 heel raises, 10 toe presses, 10 toe spreads, and a look at each foot. Tonight, before bed, soak your feet in comfortably warm water for 10 minutes and check every toe. This week, set a timer to stand and walk 2 to 3 minutes every hour, aiming for 8 short walks a day. This week, lie down once a day and put your legs up for 15 minutes. And this week, if your numbness is new, spreading, or in 1 foot only, book an appointment and bring this list with you. Think of someone in your life who grips the furniture when they walk, or who has told you their feet feel far away. Send this to them, because the person who needs it most is often the one who stopped mentioning it. Tell me in the comments which of these you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. And if you want more of the science your appointments never have time for, subscribe to this channel, because keeping seniors steady, independent, and in their own homes is the whole reason it exists. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Nathan Reeves. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.